Welcome back to Skyward Fighter. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting advancements in military aviation. For years, the B-52 Stratofortress has ruled the skies, becoming an enduring symbol of American military might. But now, a new chapter is being written in the skies above us, ushering in a terrifying new era in strategic air power. This isn't just a modernization, it's a transformation, equipped with state-of-the-art systems, next-gen engines, and warfighting capabilities that surpass anything seen before. This legendary bomber is being reborn for 21st century combat. But just how powerful is this next-generation Titan? What classified upgrades have been secretly built into its frame? And more importantly, could this be the aircraft that redefines global military dominance? Just when you thought the B-52 bomber was nearing retirement, it's coming back stronger than ever. The upgrades you're about to hear could very well shape the future of aerial warfare. And you won't believe what engineers pulled off behind the scenes. During the intense standoff of the Cold War, the United States was in a high-stakes race against the Soviet Union, especially in the skies. Among the many iconic war machines that emerged from this era, few were as impactful or as enduring as the B-52 Stratofortress. By the end of World War II, Boeing had already earned its stripes with the B-17 Flying Fortress, a critical asset in bombing raids across Europe and the Pacific. But it was the B-29 Superfortress that truly changed the game. Designed to carry nuclear warheads and travel long distances, it cemented Boeing's reputation by the time nearly 4,000 units were built by late 1945. Even as the world was still recovering from the war's aftermath, the U.S. Air Force was planning its next leap. They needed something faster, deadlier, and capable of reaching distant enemies without refueling. Boeing stepped up to the plate, and the result? The birth of the B-52, a bomber that would not only meet the Air Force's ambitious goals, but ultimately surpass them. From the ashes of war, a legend was born. It wasn't just about building a better bomber, it was about setting the standard for strategic dominance in the skies. What followed would define aerial warfare for generations and give America the edge it desperately needed. Back in an era when military aviation was evolving at lightning speed, the U.S. Air Force laid out what could only be described as an audacious wish list. They envisioned a long-range bomber that would set new benchmarks in power, endurance, and combat versatility. The specs? Intense. The aircraft needed to support at least 5 crew members, plus a 6-person relief team for marathon missions. It had to fly at 300 miles per hour, cruise at 34,000 feet, and deliver a combat radius of 5,000 miles. Oh, and it needed to carry 20mm cannons and a staggering 10,000 pounds of mixed munitions. But those demands didn't stay static. Within months, they escalated the requirements. A speed boost to 400 miles per hour, a flight range stretched to 12,000 miles, and, perhaps most critically, the capability to deliver nuclear payloads. It was a bold pivot that would redefine strategic air power. The Air Force asked for the impossible. Boeing delivered. Faced with a nearly impossible engineering dilemma, Boeing didn't just answer the call. They created an aircraft that would not only meet these insane specs, but go on to serve over 7 decades. And it all came down to one massive decision. Which engine would power this beast? The engine debate that nearly derailed everything. As development on the B-52 bomber heated up, so did tensions inside the Pentagon. At the center of the storm, a fierce debate over what kind of engines should power the Air Force's next-generation strategic bomber. It wasn't just an engineering decision. It was a clash of vision between two powerful military minds. The original design, called the Model 464-40, featured Westinghouse J40 turbojet engines. But concerns over reliability pushed engineers to pivot toward turboprop engines, sparking a heated disagreement between two high-ranking generals. General Howard A. Craig believed jet tech wasn't ready yet, insisting on turboprops as a safer stepping stone. His counterpart, General Curtis LeMay, Deputy Chief of Air Staff for R&D, disagreed. LeMay pushed hard for full jet propulsion, convinced that any performance gaps could be resolved by refining the aircraft's design. He also rejected the B-47 style tandem seating plan, insisting on side-by-side seating to improve pilot morale and reduce fatigue during long-haul missions. The hotel room that gave birth to a legend. After countless meetings, test designs, and heated conversations, Boeing engineers finally locked in some core specs for the B-52. The aircraft would fly at a blistering top speed of 500 miles per hour and boast a flight range of 8,000 miles, capabilities that set a new bar for strategic bombers. But then came a moment straight out of an engineering movie. With time ticking and pressure mounting, a small group of Boeing's finest, George S. Scherer, Art Carlson, von Blumenthal, Maynard Panel, Bob Whittington, and even VP of Engineering Ed Wells, ditched the lab and got creative. They walked into a local hobby store, bought some model building supplies, and went back to their hotel room at the Van Cleve Hotel in Dayton, Ohio. That's where they built a prototype, by hand. Inspired by the B-47, they shaped a 35-degree swept wing design that would later define high-speed military aircraft for decades to come. The $700 billion bomber that started in a hotel room. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. The roots of the world's most iconic strategic bomber weren't forged in some high-tech lab. They came from glue, wood, and pure genius inside a modest hotel room. Picture it. A sleek, silver warbird with a silhouette like nothing the world had ever seen. 8 roaring engines, 4 under each wing, powered its massive frame, while a unique bicycle-style landing gear, reinforced by tip wheels, kept it grounded on the runway. This was the product of that Dayton, Ohio hotel brainstorm, where Boeing engineers carved their vision from balsa wood into history. The military was stunned. The prototype nailed every requirement, and in April 1952, the first B-52 Stratofortress soared into the sky. Only 3 years had passed since the Soviet Union detonated its first atomic bomb, and now the U.S. had a long-range strategic bomber that could respond with terrifying reach. By June 1955, the B-52 bomber officially entered service at Castle Air Force Base in California. With its unmatched range and nuclear capability, it became the backbone of America's Strategic Air Command. Almost overnight, the flight that redefined the Cold War. It wasn't just a test flight, it was a message. With the B-52 now airborne, the U.S. had launched a new era in global military strategy. The Cold War would never be the same again. But here's where things get really interesting. The B-52 isn't just sticking to its traditional bombing role. The Air Force is looking into new ways to make this aircraft even deadlier, possibly even taking it into the realm of hypersonic weapons. Imagine a B-52 carrying a hypersonic missile, a weapon that can travel more than 5 times the speed of sound. While many might consider the B-52 a relic of the past, these potential upgrades are positioning it to be one of the most formidable aircraft of the future. Stick around as we break down this bold new direction for the B-52. The B-52 Lancer is also set to feature some groundbreaking upgrades in terms of payload capacity. Each wing of the new Lancer will be capable of carrying up to 20,000 pounds of ordnance. This will allow the B-52 to carry everything from conventional bombs to the newest hypersonic missiles, which are designed to strike targets at incredible speeds, making them nearly impossible to intercept. These missiles are expected to enter service soon, and with the B-52 now capable of carrying them, it will add another layer of flexibility and firepower to an already deadly aircraft. But even more exciting is the potential future integration of the AGM-181 long-range standoff missile, a stealthy cruise missile specifically designed to carry nuclear payloads. This would make the B-52 bomber an even more powerful force in America's nuclear deterrent, reinforcing its role in the triad alongside submarine and intercontinental ballistic missile capabilities. With these upgrades, the B-52 will remain an indispensable part of the U.S. military for decades to come. So, is this legendary bomber finally ready to retire after more than 70 years of service? Or is it just getting started? The question of whether the B-52 should keep pace with modern warfare or make way for newer technologies like the B-21 Raider is a topic that's been hotly debated. But if the recent upgrades and the arrival of the B-52 bomber are any indication, the B-52 isn't going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, it's evolving into something more deadly than ever before. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to Skyward Fighter for more insights into the world of military aviation. See you in the next video.